From the funder perspective, and you might want to talk about how you encourage or even screen applicants for this question of how they'll partner with others. I don't know if that's a piece of the criteria, but if you want to talk about whether that goes into your thinking. From the funder perspective, often when they're at the high level, they look and see two organizations that seem the same and say, you guys should work together. But from the perspective of the people who are working, you run into sort of these personality issues and other things that you're talking about. Have you found in sort of your going about that funders or others are encouraging you to connect with like-minded or like organizations they perceive as similar in some way? No?
I do feel that. I have felt that a little bit, but no, I don't. I've never felt forced into it. Yeah. They've made connections for me that have helped, like Altria that I was saying. Like, they definitely, helped me go speak at a conference that all the coalition directors were at. They listened to me say, like, well, here are some of the problems. How can you? And they helped me get through that. So they were helpful in that way.
Yeah.
But some of the smaller funders who aren't as involved, they do kind of just want to give their money, but they also want to tell you what to do. Like, that happens a lot, and I do feel it from them. But we do actually have to work with people closely so we can get through it.
Yeah, I know you suffer the critique of, just like Blue Ridge does, of, well, why start more organizations? There's plenty of organizations out there. And so aside from sort of discouraging folks from starting their own organization.
We have the right organization.
Yeah, to what just the extent do you consider or not, or would you, this notion of how well they'll play with others or interact with the field or their place in sort of the landscape of what they're working on?
We only fund 20 or so a year to start out of the 1,500 or so that apply every year. So we're really talking about creating a space for the best of the best, and that best, by the way, is a mixed portfolio. It's not the people who are the most educated, went to the right schools or whatever. It's not that. It's really actually mixed. In fact, we like to take risks, and that's part of our model, and we believe that there's not enough risk-taking in seeding social change, and that's the whole point of us, is that we're, in some ways, a good gateway. And so we want people who are doing new things, groundbreaking new things. We don't want the same thing that the last person was doing, just in a new state. We really want to kind of push that. So part of what we ask in our application is, how are you different from your peers? So that's kind of the anti-partnership model in some ways, because we're asking them to compare and actually kind of prop themselves up. In terms of, and we work actually pretty strongly with our fellows on thought leadership and positioning themselves, and kind of inherent in that is this notion that you are a person representing an organization that's in a field, and that field has, even if it's a new strategy like restorative justice, it's still is that what it's called, restorative justice? Okay. That it is. There's been a history there, and that 1, you need to be respectful, 2, you need to know the peers, and 3, you need to know how you want to fit in, like what role do you want to take, even if it's a backseat role for a long time. And we eventually encourage people to take action on kind of field relationship strategy, and in some cases, again, that is a very humble, very quiet role, and for some people they're really pushing themselves front and center because, by the way, they have the credibility to do so.